Let's meet in the middle of our mat, ready for our warm-up. Separate your heels and toes so that your feet, knees and hips are all in line with each other. Let's move to some pelvic sways. So we're just swaying our pelvis from one side to the other. Make sure you keep your breastbone and your belly button and your pubic bone all in line with each other when you do this. From here, we're moving into some shifts. So we're shifting our body weight forward and then shifting our body weight backwards. So the aim here is you want to keep your feet and toes planted on the ground, don't lift them up, as you shift your weight forwards and backwards. You want to finish up with your weight slightly sitting in front of your heels. Let's move on to some squats. So again, folding at the hips and the knees. Imagine you have a peach sitting underneath your chin. You don't want to drop it, nor do you want to squash it. You want to maintain that neutral head and neck position throughout. Last one, I promise. From here, I want you to spread your legs apart into a wide stance as we move into some lateral lunges. So the secret with this is keep both your hip bones facing forwards as you bend one knee and shift your weight to that side. So imagine you've got traffic lights at the front of your hip joints. You want them both to be facing forward without any rotation. Okay, this time round, we want to add that rotation. So bend and rotate your pelvis towards the bent leg side. It should be done in one smooth movement. Allow your body to follow as you rotate towards one side. Let's switch it over. So again, keeping those hip bones level, we're just bending that leg and allowing our body to follow through. And again, let's add in that rotation. So again, it needs to be one smooth movement. Let's stick with this for a bit. From here, let's move on to some wide stance squats. So turn your feet out as you squat down. Allow both your knees to track away from your body as you bend straight down towards that ground. Hold it as we come into some alternating calf raises. So holding that squat, we're just lifting one heel up, alternating between the two. This time round, do both heels at the same time. These exercises are really good at warming our calves up. Now let's meet at the end of our mat, ready for our roll down. Tuck your chin to your chest. Peel one vertebra down at a time as you roll forward. Imagine you're peeling away from a wall, and let's meet down onto the mat on our hands and knees. Add a quick pelvic tilt just to warm up our pelvis. So roll our pelvis forward and then backwards and then forwards again. From here, let's move into some arm taps. So just reaching your arm out in front of you. You want to keep your pelvis and back as neutral and as stable as possible by engaging your core with each movement. Switch sides. This time, let's challenge our core. Let's alternate between our left arm and our right arm. This really encourages stability through those lower muscles. From here, let's slide one leg behind us. So again, we're challenging our core using our lower limb. Let's stick to one side for a little bit before we switch on to the next side. Again, let's aim for 5 reps on the right hand side. Again, you want to keep your pelvis as stable as possible by engaging your core with each slide. This time round, I want you to alternate between your left leg and your right leg. This creates a lot of instability in our pelvis. So your aim here again is to create as much stability as possible. I'm not worried about how far you can move your leg behind you, but rather how stable you can keep that pelvis. So try to imagine you have a cup of coffee sitting on your lower back. You don't want it to tip over. Let's go opposite arm, opposite leg. Again, this is just to challenge our core that little bit more. So inhale to prepare. As you exhale, slide your arm and leg away from your body. Try and create as much stability as you can. And again, just to be even more cheeky, let's lift our legs and arm away from the mat and hold, and then lower back down. So again, we're inhaling to prepare. As you exhale, slide your arm and leg away from your body and up away from the. How's your cup of coffee going? Is it still sitting on our lower back? Because I plan to drink that once we're done. From here, curl your toes under and just gently rock your pelvis back towards your heels to get a slight stretch through that lower back. This time, let's move on to our hovers. So lifting our knees an inch up off the mat, hold before releasing back down. Again, core on, lift our knees up off the mat, hold, and then come on back down. This one is a really good challenge for our core as we're working on our core endurance. With our next hover, let's go into some knee openings. So hold and open your knees, alternating from left to right and then coming back down. Again, hover, left knee, right knee, right knee, and come back down. Let's move on to some marching legs. So hover as you alternate between your left and right kicks, and then come back down. Repeat, hover, left heel, right heel, right heel, and come back down. This little sequence is really good for core endurance and longevity of our core strength. This time, step your left arm and right arm in front of your body, curl your toes as we reach for a full plank. So you want to try and maintain a straight line all the way from your head down to your heels. So maintain a neutral pelvis here. We don't want our pelvis to rock forwards or backwards, as it can create a little bit of discomfort through our lower back. Let's move into a child's pose. So stretch on back so you feel a stretch through that lower part of your back. Okay, let's come and meet on the side of our mat. So imagine there's a brick wall behind you and you want to be resting up against that. Stretch your arm out underneath you and lift your heels so that they're in line with your hips. Send your top hip towards your feet so that there's a gap just underneath your lower hip. Let's begin with clams. So all we're doing here is lifting our top knee away from our bottom knee. You want to maintain stability again through that pelvis as you're just creating an external rotation through that hip joint. Let's alter the clams and lift our lower feet up off the ground as again, we open our top knee away from our bottom knee. Let's add on a kick. So clam, kick, return your foot back, close the clam. Open, kick, return your foot and bring the knee back down. Let's stick with this for just a little bit more. I promise you we're almost done for this side. Let's roll over onto our backs now. Make a diamond with your hand and place it onto your belly. And I want you to make sure that your fingertips are not pointing up or down, but are rather neutral. And let's go into some leg reaches. So tabletop, stretch your leg out, bring it back down and drop it to the floor. Let's stick to this side for a little bit more. So again, what we're doing here is maintaining that pelvic stability. We don't want the pelvis to rock forwards or backwards, so I don't want your fingertips to tip forward or backwards as you lift and extend your leg away from your body. Okay, let's switch sides now. So tabletop, leg reach, fold it back and drop it down to the floor. Again, let's do a bit of core challenge and let's alternate between left and right side. Again, try and avoid your pelvis from tipping. So imagine there's a plate of food sitting on your belly. You don't want it to tip left or right. You're doing awesome, guys. Not much more to go now. Let's move on to some knee drops now. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, drop your knee away from your body and bring it back. Let's do 2 on one side and then 2 on the other. And now let's do them both together. Again, with these movements, you want to maintain that pelvic stability. So we're doing 2 knee drops on the right, 2 knee drops on the left, and then both knee drops together. How you all going, guys? Are you really feeling that core challenge? We've got not much more to go now. Bring your knees to your chest for a well-deserved stretch. So roll them around one way and then roll them around the other way. Feel that lower back stretch and just enjoy it. Let's repeat all that on the other side. So line your back up with the back of the mat. Extend your lower arm down. Make sure your feet are in line with your hips. Elongate your top pelvis away from your body so that there's an opening underneath you. And let's work into some clams. So just lifting that top leg away from your bottom knee. Again, we want the movement to come purely from an external rotation of the hip rather than you rotating your pelvis and your lower back. From here, lift both your feet up and continue clamming. So again, this challenges our core a little bit more. Just make sure you haven't lost that opening through your lower pelvis. This time, let's add on a kick. So clam to open, extend your top leg, bring it back, drop your knee down to meet, and repeat. Again, it's how stable you keep your pelvis, not how far you clam up or even extend that top leg. I'm more interested in the stability of your pelvis. And this is achieved by recruiting your lower abdominal muscles. So get your lower belly in towards hugging your spine. Let's roll on over to our backs for a well-deserved glute stretch. So just place your ankle on your opposite knee. And with this stretch, all I want you to do is keep both hip bones level and gently extend that knee away from your body. Hold. Feel the stretch through your glutes. Let's bring that same knee to cross over our body and incorporate a lower back stretch in this as well. Repeat all that on the other side. Bring both knees in towards your body and just go for a gentle roll one way and then gently rolling the other way. Let's roll on over for a child's pose. So separate your knees, bring your feet together and sit back onto your heels. Stretch your arms as far away from your body as possible. Let's gently come on up to our roll up. So curling your spine, stacking one vertebrae on top of each other, and the last thing that comes up is your head and neck. And let's meet back in the middle of our mat. Stand with your feet together, separate your heels and then your toes, and let's go back to our pelvic sways. What do you notice this time? Do you think maybe now you can stretch and sway that a little bit further now that our spine is more mobile? You should be able to. Fold your arms out in front of you and let's go into some spinal twists. So twisting one way, keeping our hips facing forward, and then twisting the other way. Let's finish up with some side stretching, rolling forward, around, and then rolling back up. One more on the other side, stretch to the side, roll forward, and then roll all the way back up. I hope you've enjoyed today's workout. Thank you. We'll see you next time.